Welcome to Building Foundations for Education. We are in the final chapter of the school year, and I'm excited to tell you about many things that are happening. With me is our special guest, Dr. Mark Rendell. Welcome.
Hello, Cynthia. Thanks for having me.
We're so excited, and I want to hear all about Blue Angels. We know right now this is airing over, I'll call it Blue Angels Weekend, and congratulations on being a key influencer. I almost said key instigator, key influencer. What an amazing experience that must have been.
Yeah, this is the weekend for the Vero Beach Air Show, and the Blue Angels are flying. That's the main attraction. And when the Blue Angels come to town, usually they do a couple of things ahead of time before the show. One of the things is they give a ride, so to speak, in one of the Blue Angel planes, Blue Angel number 7. It's not one of the ones that flies in the show, but it is an FA-18 Hornet, same plane and everything that is in the show. It's blue and all that. And they give a ride to what's called a key influencer. And I was selected as a key influencer, nominated by the Vero Beach Air Show, the Exchange Clubs, and the Veteran Council of Indian River County, the people that are putting on the air show. So extremely grateful to them for being nominated and then selected by the Navy as a key influencer. And I guess a key influencer is somebody that has an influence over young people who may be thinking about a career in the military and that kind of thing. And I get to work with young people every day. I get to talk to young people in classrooms and schools every day. So I guess that's my role as a key influencer. But, you know, being a part of the experience actually gave me even a newfound appreciation for our military. You know, I served in the United States Army. My dad was in the Navy. So already, you know, have a lot of respect for the military and thankful for the men and women who serve in our armed forces. But preparing for this, you know, just kind of brought all that back home. And then yesterday was the flight. And there's a whole pre-flight briefing that you have to go through. And there were 3 of us going up in the plane at different times yesterday. And so we had this pre-flight briefing. And the crew chief was giving us all the information about what to do, what not to do during the flight and getting us ready. And I was sitting there just in awe, really, of his preparation, of the training that he has gone through, the years of experience that he's gone through to get to his position.
Oh, yeah.
And then we talked a little bit about the pilot, and you know, he's a combat pilot. He's flown, I think it was over 40 combat missions and that kind of thing. So, you know, these are, you know, top-notch, Top Gun type people, and just to see the preparation and everything that they do, you know, for their job. And so it was a joyride for us, a joyride for me for sure, but it's not necessarily a joyride all the time. You know, the thing that kind of brought it back to me, really also brought it home, was when I got in the cockpit. You realize that you're in a war machine. Right. You know, it's a combat fighter jet, and all these instruments and everything, which I wasn't supposed to touch, and I didn't. And then, you know, all the maneuvers and everything that we did up in the air, exhilarating, intense, exciting, and all that. But knowing that this is what these people do every day, you know, to train for combat and to fly into combat and stuff like that. So joyride for me, a lot of fun, an incredible experience, and something I'll never forget. Very fortunate, very honored to participate. But it did kind of bring back to me, you know, or bring home really the respect that we should have for all the men and women who serve in our armed forces. Oh,
absolutely, and everything that goes into that, you know, the electronics, you know, the building of the machine, the STEM. I think of STEM careers, all the tie-ins that, you know, you have this person who's put in all that time, but all the people who've given time into creating that plane or protecting the safety, protecting the freedoms of our country so that you can fly. I mean, just so many different lives that are part of what was a joyride, but you know.
Yeah, so many people involved in putting that together. Yeah. I actually talked about that after I got out of the plane and was talking to some people on the runway that, you know, Lieutenant Webb, you know, took me on the flight. He was the pilot. Right. You know, but the crew chief, you know, he helped us before the flight, and then so many people involved, ground crew, but, you know, all the support. And then, of course, over at the airport, you know, everybody involved in that, you know, putting that on. And so the air show, I hope everybody goes to the air show this weekend. Should be a lot of fun. The Blue Angels are incredible. They are. There's some other incredible performers in the show and that kind of thing. But, you know, for me, it was an exhilarating, intense, exciting experience, and, you know, something I'll never forget. I think I didn't black out, and I didn't. And
you kept your lunch.
I didn't throw up or anything like that. And we did do all the maneuvers that they do in the air show. Wow. And so we were inverted. We did all kinds of hard turns, and at one point we had pulled 7 Gs. So I'm told that's pretty incredible. And it was very intense. It was more exhilarating and exciting than any roller coaster I've ever been on. And just is obviously something that I'll never forget.
Oh, wow. And so it is exciting this weekend that they're coming, and I understand they're going to be performing or speaking to some high school students and ESC students?
Yeah, so when they come, they don't just perform for the air show. They do a lot of outreach in the community, especially in schools.
Yeah.
So Friday morning of this weekend, whenever you see the show, but on the Friday morning of this weekend, they will actually speak to juniors and seniors at all of our area high schools. The Blue Angel pilots will be at all of our area high schools talking to them about careers in the military. And I don't think it will just be the pilots. I think the crew chiefs and some other personnel will be there. And then Friday afternoon, they're holding a special performance for some of our special needs students. So they do this every time they come. So these students actually get to meet the Blue Angels, spend some time with them out at the airport before they go, and then they're going to put on a special show for them. So, the Blue Angels are really community focused. They're kind of an advertising agency, so to speak, for the United States Navy, but they're also a community outreach agency, and they realize how important it is to show young people that they care about them and that kind of thing. So, just having them here is awesome. It's great for our community, but also the outreach they do is really appreciated.
Well, and it's so inspiring to the students. And I know we were able to be part of that ESC meet and greet 3 years ago, and it was unbelievable, just the time and the care that they took to talk to the students and to the families and to the teachers. It was unbelievable. Well,
that's the thing. These are hotshot fighter pilots, right?
Right.
Top Guns or whatever, and the crew chiefs and the co-pilots and everything that are there. And they could be a little different, I guess, in how they treat people, and instead they're so down to earth and they're so
kind.
Friendly and kind, and it's amazing. And so they are truly great ambassadors for the Navy and our military. It's just a great thing for our community to have them here.
And I just have to say a shout out, as we said, to the air show organizers, and I know to the Veterans Council and everybody who's involved for bringing this to our community. It's just such a treasure, and I feel so patriotic when I'm there. I'm screaming just every time the check goes
off.
Well,
it is kind of one of those things that makes you proud to be an American.
Yes.
Not only are the military planes flying, or current military planes, but there's some retired military planes, so to speak, and a lot of the other people involved are veterans. And so, it's a great American event.
Yes, very much so. Well, congratulations, and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I'll be smiling for weeks or months, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was a
I'm
lot of
smiling
fun.
just hearing about it. I'm very excited. So summer is coming. Lots of great programming going on, and something new with coding. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're offering a coding camp. It's an 8-week coding camp for our high school students. They actually learn the latest in coding language. They'll actually walk out of there with a certificate that they could go to work right away, be employed right away as a computer programmer. We're doing this in conjunction with IRSC and a group from South Florida, Code Schools. And so it's free for the students. It's only 24 seats. So the first 24 high school students that sign up, we're targeting rising seniors, but actually we're going to open it up to any high school students. So first come, first served basis. So if you know any high school students who are interested in a career in computers, or at least have an affinity for computers, it's a free camp. It's 8 weeks. It's every day. It's intense.
Yeah.
But they're learning the latest coding languages, and they will actually walk out of there with a certificate that they can be employed as a computer programmer right away.
And I think what's exciting, I know Indiana River State College is a partner in this, but this is not a coding class you could get anywhere else. I mean, this is the state of the art, if that's the right term.
It is, yeah. So Code Schools is a group from South Florida that trains computer programmers. This is what they do.
Right.
And so they're offering this to our students, to our people in our community this summer, and we're paying for it. The school district's paying for it. It's free, but only 24 seats. So the first 24 that sign up.
That's wonderful. And thank you to the school district for partnering with the Education Foundation and presenting Step Into Kindergarten. We're so excited. We're going to have 225 4- and 5-year-olds. So if you're watching and you'd like to learn more about Step Into Kindergarten, please visit the school district's website. It's for children who have participated in voluntary pre-K and would benefit from some additional time, 29-day bridge program. And we've had such great success in preparing students. And I think what's really a testimony is when we started it, we said, gosh, are we going to have teachers who want to teach? And now the teachers who have participated love it so much because they get to know the students that will be coming into their school, into their classrooms, and they share that those students become sort of the experts.
That's right.
It's been exciting.
So we just talked about some of our older students with the coding camp, now talking about some of our younger students.
Yeah.
So Step Into K is a bridge program for students who have been in voluntary pre-K, getting ready to go to kindergarten, and maybe they need just a little bit more to get them ready for kindergarten. So it's a program that's community funded, basically, so we thank the community for that. And so it's kind of a summer bridge program for rising kindergartners. These are 4 and 5-year-olds getting ready to go to kindergarten.
Yeah.
And like you said, what we've seen is a lot of our kindergarten teachers are the ones that teach this program over the summer. And so these are the teachers that these students might have when they go to kindergarten next year. And so they know what the kids need to know and be able to do. And so to have them in the summer and get them ready, we've seen great success with the kids who've participated in Step Into K, how much better they are prepared. They're kindergarten ready, so to speak, when they come to kindergarten. And if they hadn't participated in the program, some of them may not have been. So yeah, like Cynthia said, if you have, an incoming kindergartner and you're not aware of Step Into K, just contact the school district office and we can get you information.
And I think it's exciting because it's the social emotional component. When I speak to groups, and we thank United Way, Johns Island Community Service League, Children's Services Council, and Quail Valley Charities, it's that piece of learning how to follow directions, get along with others, play well with others. And I joke, everybody can benefit from those skills. But in all sincerity, our teachers tell us if children arrive with those skills, they can really help them catch up so much faster.
Yeah, a lot of times we say, what does a student or what does a young person need to know to be kindergarten ready? Do they need to know their letter sounds and the basic numbers and that kind of thing? And yeah, those are good skills that we kind of need them to have. But more importantly is that socialization. Yeah. Can they be part of a class? Do they know how to wait their turn, raise their hand? Do they know what an inside voice is? If they encounter a conflict, how do they handle that kind of thing? So, a lot of that social and emotional stuff, some of our kids coming into kindergarten don't have. So, that's something that they do learn in that Step Into K program. Again, they're part of a class. They learn, how to interact with others in a positive way and all that kind of thing. And the teachers, get them used to some of those kindergarten routines that they're going to need to be successful. Yeah, so you're right. It's not just, do they know their alphabet and can they count to 10? Can they write their name and all that? It's more, do they know how to be a productive member of a class?
And we're excited, thanks to Quail Valley Charities, we've gotten a grant to provide a parent academy, which I think will be another great benefit. And many of the parents have said they've appreciated it as a way to make connections with the school and learn. It can be kind of overwhelming especially if it's your first child, entering the school district, understanding how to, I hate to say navigate, but there's a lot. No,
you're right. And anybody out there who's a parent who has more than one kid knows the first one. There's no manual. You don't really know how to do it, and so the first time you're entering them, enrolling them in school and that kind of thing, well, how do you do it? And we're a big institution. We have a lot of rules and regulations, and sometimes we forget to explain all those rules and regulations. And, we do our best to be great at customer service, especially when we're enrolling students and especially kindergartners and, primary grades children and stuff like that. But there are, hidden rules to the culture and that kind of thing. And so the Parent Academy does, teach the parents some ins and outs and, how to develop a relationship with your son or daughter's teacher and how to communicate and what expectations are and, who to call at the district if you have this question, that kind of thing. And, we probably still don't do as good a job with that as we could, but we try to do, everything we can to make sure that it's a smooth transition.
And absolutely. And I think the other thing we really want to do is give parents the supports they need to help their child. And kindergarten isn't the kindergarten when we went to school.
No,
it's a whole other world. And that's another piece of letting them know what they'll be expecting and how they can help.
Yeah, Cynthia, that's a great point. We expect our students to do more every year than they, generations past.
Yes.
Basically what we used to do in 4th grade, now we're doing in 2nd grade, that kind of thing. And so kindergarten's a little different now. Years and years ago, it was half a day, and it's a full day and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of instruction that goes on. It's a lot different.
There's a lot different. So I'll just briefly show the flyer. You can find more about the summer programs on the school district website, and there's this great flyer that outlines it, so we hope you'll check it out. So lots of year-end celebrations. We've got graduations coming up.
Yeah, and the thing is, these days, we don't just graduate from high school. We graduate at almost every grade level.
Yes.
It used to be we got promoted, but now we have graduation celebrations. So all the elementary schools, all the middle schools are having graduation or promotion celebrations. And of course, the 2 comprehensive high schools and the charter high school are having their real graduations. Vero Beach High School graduates on Friday night, May 18th, I believe. And then Saturday morning, Sebastian River High School graduates. And then I think Saturday afternoon, the 19th, the charter high school has their official graduation ceremony. But yeah, there are all kinds of celebrations. That's the great thing. We get through the testing season, and we're in the midst of the testing season right now. But we get through that, and then we get to celebrate. We get to celebrate kids getting promoted to the next grade level and graduating. And with the seniors, it's always a really special time because they're embarking on that next chapter of their life. Whether they're going to college or they're going into the workforce or they're going into the military, it's this next chapter of their life. And so we celebrate their accomplishment of completing this chapter, right. And hopefully we've prepared them for success in their next one.
Absolutely. And part of that theme of preparing our teachers are such an important piece of that. And we will soon know, Tess is our Teacher of the Year. And I think very soon we'll know whether she's one of the finalists for the state of Florida.
Yeah, Tess Borengasser, teacher at Glendale Elementary School, is our District Teacher of the Year. And she interviewed recently for, State Teacher of the Year, and she was a slew of finalists. And last year, you may remember that Kate Fiore, one of our teachers at Vero Beach Elementary, was a state finalist. Tess is an incredible teacher. She does a fantastic job there at Glendale Elementary. So I think she stands a good chance of getting into the final group. Hopefully we'll know soon. But even if she doesn't, we know that she's fantastic, and we celebrated her and all the other Teachers of the Year, this year. Teacher Appreciation Week is coming up in May as well. We'll be putting a lot of information out on the website and that kind of thing, making sure that everybody knows that there is a special week, so to speak, where we thank teachers for all that they do. We should be thanking them every day, but the Teacher Appreciation Week is coming up in May.
And I think an important part of that too is the support staff that supports everything we do. So it's really an appreciation week for everybody who makes education part possible.
You're right. Yeah, we actually call it Instructional Employee Appreciation Week and that kind of thing. And so not just the teachers, but the teacher assistants and anybody else that's involved in the instruction of our kids, guidance counselors, they don't have a week of their own, that kind of thing. So try to make sure that everybody that touches a kid, teaches a kid during the day is right. Celebrated.
And I always have to give a shout out, I think, to our bus drivers and to food service, because those are folks that sometimes fly under the radar, and we really can't have education if we can't bring kids to school and we can't feed them.
Yeah, there's so many different people involved in making a child's life, making a child's day and education, positive and a rewarding experience. So yeah, from when you step on the bus to when you go through the lunch line, and then when you get back on the bus to go home, or however you get to school, all the different people that interact with you every day, it makes a big difference.
Absolutely. And I always give a shout out to people. I think just a personal note, sometimes I think people get hung up on they have to bake something or buy something. I just think those personal notes go such a long way from a student or from a parent. So.
Yeah, I think the brownie or the cupcake is going to be gone pretty soon, but those notes, I actually still have folders of notes that that students gave me when I was teaching. In fact, I got an email a couple weeks ago from a student who was a senior in high school, my third year of teaching back in Virginia, 1990, whatever. Oh, wow. And she sent me a note that they were getting ready for Teacher Appreciation Week at her son's school, and she remembered, the impact that I made, and so she sent me an email. I still have a note from that class. At the end of the year, they wrote me a note, that period, that class, about how they appreciated me that year, and I still have that in a folder. And so, if you want to do something to show the teachers and the other people at the school that you appreciate them, a note is actually probably just as welcome, if not more so, than a baked good. Not that they wouldn't want a baked good.
Not that cookies aren't appreciated.
But a note, it goes a long way, and you can keep those.
Absolutely. And so we have lots of other things coming up. I know that we have the opportunity for people to respond to the ESC survey and to opt in for texting.
Yeah, all kinds of information on our school district's website. We actually ask for information from our community, especially our stakeholders, so parents. The Parent Climate Survey is out. You have to log into Focus to take it, but the Parent Climate Survey is out, and contact your son or daughter's school if you don't find it on the website, but it's on the website. You can get paper copies at all of our schools. So we collect all that information from the parents, and we look at some specific questions to look at how we're doing. We're getting your feedback on our service. You're the customer, so this is a customer service survey, so to speak. And so we usually take that information and break it down over the summer. And if there's some trends that we see that we're doing well, then we want to continue those things. But if there's some areas of concern, then we try to address those. And we actually ask for a letter grade. We ask the parents to grade our schools and our district, and we do pay attention to that. It's part of our school report card and our district report card. So those surveys are out. There's an ESE survey. If your son or daughter is a student with special needs, then we want to know how we're doing in that. The students and the staff will be completing their surveys over the next couple of weeks. So we do survey 3 different populations: parents, students, and staff. And we use that information over the summer to kind of gauge how we're doing in some things. So the results of those surveys are part of the school report cards and the district report cards. They're also a measurement in the strategic plan. In the school district's 5-year strategic plan, there's a section on community engagement, and so we use the data from those surveys to measure some of those objectives.
And I think it's such great information because the state keeps changing the measure of how schools are evaluated. I almost feel like as a parent, it's a real snapshot. Like there's such great, rich data in there as far as you can learn a lot about a school as far as teacher attendance.
Right.
You know, because I feel like that's an indicator of morale at that school. A lot of really good information that you can learn a lot about a school, especially if you're new to the community or you just want to be aware about different schools.
Yeah, so the school report cards are online. We have a report card for every single one of our schools and our district. We graded ourselves.
Yeah.
And there's 7 different categories of data. So it's the state gives us a letter grade, each school letter grade, and the district, but it's based on just student achievement on the state standardized tests. So the data that we use has student discipline data, attendance data, teacher attendance data,
right.
The survey data from the parents. So, how did you feel we're doing and how did you feel your son or daughter's school is doing and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of information there that doesn't appear on the state grade.
Right.
And so it's a good way, like you said, to kind of get a better snapshot of how the school is doing. We actually feel that the parent satisfaction grade, the grade that we get from the parents is the most accurate measure.
Yes.
You're the customers, your son or daughter's in our school every day, and you might have more than one son or daughter, and they might be in the same school or different schools. And so, you're front line, and you give us the feedback that we need to see how we're doing.
Absolutely. So we hope people will check that out. And I'm glad you mentioned the strategic plan because that's another important document that's a living, breathing document. Sometimes people think strategic plan happens, it gets put on a shelf to collect dust, but it's really something that is continually looked at and evaluated and reviewed, right?
Right. So all 5 of the goal areas have measurable objectives. And we actually reviewed some student achievement data with the board back in February. We have mid-year kind of assessment data on a lot of our grade levels on progress towards those state tests. We don't have the state test result data. Should get that in June. But we had, what we call diagnostic tests or predictive tests that we give to see how we're doing. And most of the results in grades 3 through 8 looked pretty good. So it looked like we were moving in the right direction, especially grades 3 through 5. The elementary schools seem to be moving in the right direction swiftly. So that looks good. And so we'll have all that real data in June. So, at least for academic success, we'll have all that data, and then we'll collect all the other data. So we'll kind of evaluate our success in year 1 of the 5-year strategic plan, and then make any changements to the plan and any changes to the plan and any changes to the objectives and measurables when we get ready for year 2. And we'll be presenting all that information to the school board in June, and then we'll have, and those meetings are always taped or televised live and taped so people can see them. But we'll probably go out and do some community presentations next year to show, hey, we finished year 1, now we're into year 2, how are we doing? That kind of thing.
That's awesome. So I know Casual for a Cause continues, so congratulations for starting that culture within our schools, not only to raise money, but to raise awareness of all the great people and organizations that do good work. And Autism Awareness, I think, was selected as the charity for April, right?
Yeah, so April's Casual for a Cause was Autism Awareness. It is Autism Awareness Month, and so we're raising funds and raising awareness. Students with autism are our students.
Yes.
They're capable of all kinds of great things, and so it's more like making sure autism awareness, it's the proper phrase,
right,
that we educate everybody about, what autism is and what it isn't and that kind of thing, and so that, and we celebrate these students and their accomplishments and also raise money.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. That's just phenomenal. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic thing, and I think it's our 3rd year in a row doing autism awareness as a Casual for a Cause.
Well, good. So we have an event coming up that I hope we will see you, maybe Mr. Searcy, some other great people, called Charity Shoot. And it's a skeet clay shooting. I always feel like when I first moved here, I confess, shooting and guns and education, I wasn't quite sure how that all came together, but it's our 18th year, and it's been a wonderful way for us to raise money for our programs and be able to reinvest that in our students and teachers here in Indian River County. So it's Saturday, the 28th of April, and we hope that you, and if you're watching and interested, please visit the Education Foundation website Saturday, April 28th from 10 to noon. It's at Windsor's Gun Club, which is located inside Indian River Trap and Skeet, and it's $125 per person to participate.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of times we do fundraisers, we engage in fundraisers, and we ask people to buy things or, attend events and that kind of thing. And it's not necessarily an activity that they enjoy doing. And this is an activity that these people enjoy doing.
They do. They come every year, and it's really exciting. It's 45 to 50 people that come, and they're probably some of our largest and most loyal supporters. So they're excited to hear about the work that we're doing with the district, the great success of our students and teachers, and have fun. They're paired up in different teams, so it's a mixer, and I think that's what our guests enjoy, is that they get to meet somebody new. They feel like they're doing something great for our local students and teachers. And Nikki Sapari, I just have to give a shout out to, who's the director at Windsor Gun Club. He's really the one who spearheads it and coordinates all of it. So.
Well, I mean, they get to do something, again, that they enjoy doing, so they get to have fun and do this, and they support the community, the schools through this. And, that's the thing, a fundraiser can be something that's fun and enjoyable, and for the people who like to shoot skeet, this is perfect.
It is, and I think it's also a friend raiser, so a great way for.
True.
Yeah, so we hope we'll see you out there as well.
Yeah, we should be there, and I'm not sure if Mr. Searcy or Mr. Green are going to be there, but they might be.
We hope so. So we've covered a lot of great information from Blue Angels. We hope that people who are watching will come out this weekend to the air show. I know there's going to be some great videos that'll be on the school district website about not only what's happened with your flight, but talking to the high school students and the ESC students. We have Teacher of the Year state finalists. We hope that Tess.
Got our fingers crossed.
We have our fingers crossed for Tess. We have the surveys. We've got summer school on the website. And anything else we've left off before we wrap up?
No, I just think we're finishing up another great year. But parents, if there's ever any questions, reach out to your son or daughter's school. And if you don't get the answers there, call the district office. We're here to support you. We thank you for giving us your children to educate, and we take that responsibility very seriously. So if there's ever any question, just give us a call.
So thank you so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you next month.
Thanks again, Cynthia.
Thanks for being with us. We hope to see you soon.